The name of the band is derived from the film by the name Faster, Pussycat. Kill. Kill. Directed in 1965 by Ross Meyer, which featured three women, bikers who are at the same time go-go dancers, who brawl, swear, race with cars and behave like men overall, the very first film to feature such masculine-like behavior in women. They are of equal strength or stronger than all the men they get in conflict with, which is similar to today's female action flicks, where women are unrealistically strong in comparison to their male counterparts. The lead female role was Japanese-American actress by the stage name of Satana, if you believe your ears, who was also vedette and exotic dancer in 50s and 60s. Although not anywhere directly stated, it is not so hard to discern by the accents, that the other two women in the movie are of German and Italian descent, all three from one of the countries belonging to the Axis powers, beating American men up all across the California desert. It is strange, given that the film was recorded in post-war years, while the memory of the Second World War was relatively still fresh, and American people were still mad at the countries who belonged to the Axis powers, and given that director is Jewish. Who'd think that they would like to see three women of this particular nationalities, playing anti-heroines? That's something akin to a hero, only too butthurt to allow himself to be bound by the society's moral norms when it comes to acting out of vengeance, more realistic type than an overly romanticized hero, who has too much scrupuli. Although the film wasn't such a great success at the cinema, the director has stated that it is the best film, not only of his time, but of all times to come. It is still considered by many to be a cult film today. The story is that Varla, Satana, is the leader of a women's motorcycle gang that encounters an isolated hut, in which a mentally challenged young man and his father, an old man in a wheelchair, live and subsequently hatches a plan to rob them, using seduction and even killing them if necessary, because the gang has heard that they were hiding large sums of money in the hut. Satana supposedly had her all-female motorcycle gang in real life when she was only 15. Her last name came from her first husband John Satan, to whom her parents forcefully married her to in order to tame her wild youthful ways. The marriage lasted for 9 months. When she was walking home from school just before her 10th birthday, she was reportedly gang-raped by 5 men. According to Satana, her attackers were never prosecuted, and it was rumored that the judge had been paid off. She reports that this prompted her to learn martial arts, such as Aikido and Karate. Over the next 15 years, Satana tracked down each rapist and exacted revenge. On IMDb boards, which are unfortunately no longer available for the public, because they supposedly allowed racist slurs to go unscrutinized, it was speculated, regarding this particular movie, that the director, although Jewish, was a Nazi sympathizer, for whom this film was a way to somehow signal to the rest of the Nazis, who were imported in the States after World War II through the Project Paperclip, that their infiltration is completed and that they have taken the country from the inside out. The only thing the observer needs to do is to apply mirror imagery to the movie, as the Satanists do, and see the 3 anti-heroines winning, instead of retarded American young man, who got away from Varla by sheer luck. And now I can't prove that the topic existed because IMDb board is no longer. Now, the band Faster Pussycat was formed in Hollywood by Downe, real name Gustav Ronald Malvik, during the glam metal and glam punk boom of the 1980s. The earliest incarnation of the band featured Downe and Greg Steele along with Brent Muscat. The band is still active, with slightly changed lineup, and with one breakup behind them. If there are any people that are females to males or FTMs out there, my vote goes for Brent Muscat and Greg Steele. Brent Muscat especially. Downe co-founded, together with his good friend Ricky Rockman, a famous nightclub on LA Strip, called the Cat House. If you remember, there was Cat House inscription on Axl Rose's t-shirt, which he wore in the song Paradise City in order to promote that club, since he is a big fan. Ricky Rockman got to be, by the way, the most identifiable host of the MTV's Headbangers Ball, the most famous MTV show of all times, where they would interview metal and alternative rock bands. Cat House got his name according to some because Tame liked it because it meant the whorehouse and Ricky liked it because he likes cats, something like that. I can't check that info, cuz, unfortunately, the article on LA Weekly site disappeared in the meantime, while I was doing the research for this video. By the way, they were roommates and both were dating strippers at that time. This nightclub is favorite chill-out place for many metal world celebrities, including Motley Crue's Vince Neil and famous female metal rock star Lita Ford, and ex-member of the famous all-girl band, first of its kind, from the 80s, The Runaways, managed by the weirdo Kim Foley, West Coast version of Andy Warhol. Faster Pussycat's song Cat House suggests, in my opinion, that Cat House is something more than just a nightclub.
This song is a dead giveaway that this band has something to do with mind control programming. Downe, despite his name, might be actually somewhat of a handler, because nowhere in his photos does he look even a little bit disassociated, not even while he was very young. He always looks straight into the camera, while the people around him all have blank disassociated stares, including his best friend Ricky Rockman. We have here an evil clown, similar to the famous serial killer John Wayne Gacy, aka Pogo the Clown, which is for me another proof that Gacy was indeed involved with some group of satanic pedophiles in rape, torture and murder of young men. He has some funny whip with sharp spikes coming out of it, which obviously serves to tear the flesh from the whipped victim, which at one point, girl victim in the video touches, while he dances in some sort of trance. We see children being buried alive in the caskets, both small babies and little toddlers and children. It comes to mind straight away that that's part of the torture described in the book Formula to Create Undetectable Mind Control Slave by Fritz Springmeier, who enumerates this torture, among the others, as a great way to enhance the disassociation, that is, to deepen the fractures that have already been created between the different alter egos in the mind, created by torture. We see the allusions to a young woman, possible breeder, being raped and then killed, and then somebody else being hanged. We see the little boy licking the lollipop in front of the clown creep in a suggestive way, while the creep is stroking him on the head, as a sign of approval. The lyrics are even more suggestive. They are not entirely correct, 'cause I believe that at the times when it is said that they go bye daddy you're really gone, they actually say bye baby, you're really gone, suggesting that the slave is not being in control of his own body and brain anymore. And the part in the refrain you're just a body thief suggests the same thing. One foot in the closet, one hand in a cookie jar describes a method with the help of which they manage to keep the mind control handlers on the leash, the blackmail method by which they make them compliant with their goals. They offer them a gratification of a sexual desire of their choice, often of a clandestine nature, and then they ask for a return favor, which is a torture of the weaker individuals, in order not to tell. That's something they'll repeat with the offended children, in case they reach maturity and they desire to make handlers out of them, too. They want the offender to be stretched between his desires and his possibilities in the face of the societal restrictions that have been imposed on him, eternally lying and hiding and living in fear. The offended is, of course, in similar situation given that the game of hot and cold is being played constantly with him, and he is being alternately loved and alternately hated by his parents and his handlers. There is also a mention of a Zodiac, who was another famous serial killer and, according to some theories, they are mind control victims as well, and according to some other members of satanic cults, who were scapegoated, the only ones that got blamed for committing the murders, which a larger bunch of people actually committed together, so that those others could get away with it. He says that the Zodiac will get you shaking like the San Andreas line, which is a famous seismic line, that is, a line where earthquakes happen, that passes through San Francisco, and I think that it's a metaphor for numerous serial killers that were connected, in one way or another, with that town, whether being from the area, whether that they operated there, whether that they went for that famous LSD seances there, whether that they were parts of a different cults that operate around Mount Shasta area and that are doing similar damage to the population that earthquakes do, only in an emotional and spiritual sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to violence, the word and the act. While violence cloaks itself in a plethora of disguises, its favorite mantle still remains sex.
Don't Change That song is related to sex and violence, and in the beginning of the video we can see cut-out scenes from the Move Faster Pussycat. Kill. Kill. In other words, the band is asking the girls in the audience not to change their favorite song that is playing on the jukebox, which is actually sex and violence. And that's the song, that they don't want to be changed, is obvious based on the short intro speech from the movie, which is displayed also on the beginning of the music video, where the narrator says that sex and violence were always the greatest incentives for humans to take action and that sex is even more powerful weapon of violence than the violence itself. Don't you change that song, it's my favorite record. Don't you change that song, it goes on again. It took 45 to rock in my hand. And baby, I got 12 inches of fun always at my command. Throughout the video one can see different fight scenes from the movies, including the three anti-heroines dancing seductively as go-go dancers. The video is loaded with women with very broad shoulder in comparison to their hips, jumping around very sexually provocatively while listening to the music that plays on jukebox. Don't you change that song, it goes on again. Baby, there's no reason why we can't get along. It's easy to see, I got the music in me. When it boils down, if you're gonna hang around, baby, don't take that song. Members of the band are, as I already said, severely to mildly effeminate. So, transgenderism agenda is definitely being pushed here. Don't change that song, it's my favorite record. Don't change that song, it goes on again. Don't you change that song, it's my favorite record. Don't you change that song, it goes on again. So quite preposterously you see very aggressive butchy women, not only in their physique, but also in their quick and energetic bodily movements, with the lack of feminine fluidity, with the massive boobs that look fake and narrow hip in comparison, dancing around as they are jumping from joy for the reason that they are going up to be violated and maybe beaten by this sissy boys with the makeup on, who got stronger by the taking the male hormones.
This is one of the songs, that is, according to me, a dead giveaway of the band's affiliation with the Satanism. I don't have much to say beside that, lyrics are blatantly obvious. They are not ashamed of anything, they admit it, and they were proud of the fact the devil made them do that, whatever it is, that they have done, and they would do it again if they were to choose. Shoot the bullets all loaded, can't catch me if you try. They are Babylonian night crawlers with prima donnas on their wings. They are not our typical wallflowers, they are poster boys for delinquent debauchery. They are not saints, but they are old-fashioned, and they would therefore do us on a first date. She-devil is depicted as a thumbnail, bent forward as if she is expecting for someone to do her doggy style. My headphones connected to a lip. Okay, to recapitulate what they have so far said, they are no saints. They've done something bad. They repeat anytime. Could it be that they've committed a human sacrifice, raped small children and trauma bonded with their victim slaves, but all for the reward of them getting a way out ticket out of their own bondage, perhaps by becoming handlers and programmers? The devil made me do it. But something that they've done is something they were proud to say that the devil has made them do. Are they some kind of kin with the devil? Are they all the aliens from Alpha Draconis? Or they're hybrids with Earthlings? If they were aliens, they could eventually, when pressured to, confess about the way they've built the pyramids. Huge monolithic and megalithic structures around the world, maybe even give us the secret to building wormholes. I'll admit that for aliens, which they probably are, they don't look so smart, so I take back what I previously said about Tammy. Just kidding. Of course, they would look normally. Little bit of mind control done on them as a children could create an alter egos that would look like ordinary bikers that wear makeup. How does that work with those normal bikers anyway? Didn't they used to hate homosexuals and drug addicts and issue public warrants, even on the internet, after such characters? And then one remembers that Tame and Riki have been the bikers all along.
I mean, if you're not clear that Jack the Bastard is the devil just by his name alone, which is a name that is usually used to refer to the devil in English language, beside Old Nick, then you must examine the lyrics a little bit more in depth. He is born without the face. Like that eyes without the face in that Billy Idol song? It could be a reference to him being shameless, or maybe even being demon, or even being collateral damage. That is, being another number in the God's army, supposed to do God's bidding, without question. He breeds disaster everywhere he goes. When did you see a person, another man, that contributes nothing and only breeds disaster? He is searching his maker, which he'll never find. Is that because he is so head over heels in what he has already done, that he is practically unsavable? That's very similar to Lucifer and his angels. His mama was a shaker, with a sweet heart shaped behind. Now, I don't know what that means. If anyone has any suggestions, please share them. Perhaps, his mother was Lilith, the demoness. He's a man that made day. He's another chill of the hunt. Someone risking his Wheaties. No picnic for the father and son. Touching will tell me to go on. Just turns your fingers back. From the altar to the camera lounge with a dead monkey on your back. He goes anywhere the wind blows, and he doesn't care which way the wheels roll, is another way of saying that he does what needs to be done to achieve his goals and he doesn't shy away from anything, no matter how severe. What kind of person could behave like that constantly without any kind of social repercussions catching up to him, except some person that is somehow above the law? He doesn't even know the way, which means he does what suits him and whether or not it brings something for us on the table, as well, is none of his concern. He's bastard. Enki, the first son of Sumerian chief deity Anu, was his child with the mistress and not with his sister and therefore his legitimate wife, so he's practically a bastard, and he shares lot of common traits with Lucifer. Someone pissed in his Wheaties, no picnic for the father and son. Okay, so he is not such without any reason, and as a consequence of being transgressed against, he has now something against father and son. Searching for gold in a coal mine, just turns your fingers black. Here he is defending him, because doing a job can makes you blunder or even become somehow displeasing to others. In other words, fighting God could involve one into molesting people, but that only goes with the territory, nothing wrong with that. From Seattle to the Carolines, with a dead monkey on your back. I only presume that the people didn't use only canaries to test the mines,
but sometimes monkeys as well, and that he compares here the people that went down as victims of mind controls to monkeys in the mine that died of poison gas, in order for the devil to get to his gold. He's a son of a bitch, he's bruised and he's pissed, he's alone. Well, when one gets to this certain level of power, not to mention notoriety, one is going to be either hated or envied upon or both, and one's going to end up alone.
First things one notices are the devil horns or manu cornuto shown on the supposedly broken traffic lights. Lyrics are clearly describing a systematic ritual torture, very similar to the one that is being performed on victims in order to create fragmented programmable multiple personalities. The lyrics say that the daddy's cigarette is not the only thing that's left the scar. His torture is causing for the girl in the song to become brain dead, and therefore she has decided to escape from home. And here one could think that that's the way out that M is singing about, but the chorus quite ominously starts after the song says brain dead, so it could both mean, quite ambiguously, that the only way out could both be her escaping home or her becoming brain dead due to trauma.
Mama says I'm not supposed to touch me there. You good little girl and your daddy bear. Now she's on the floor sitting there.
Dad in this song has obviously sexually abused the girl, because she says that the mum has told her that the dad was not supposed to touch her where he touched her. But the mum also didn't resolve anything, and furthermore she told her to give her daddy a teddy bear, which seems to be short for give your daddy a teddy bear hug, and teddy bears are also coded weight to say pedophile. And at the end of the song we even find out that Dad is selling the pictures of her in a cage and, I speculate, earning God knows how much money on child pornography, while she, since underage and uneducated, works on a lemonade stand. Does this sound at this point like a ritual torture?
There's something we can never know. There's so much sick folk in the way we go.
And at the very end the lyrics go, there are some things that you can never ignore. There's so much sick folk in this world we adore, and then the refrain, it's the only way out, but it's the only way out. So again, it's not clear whether the only way is not to ignore that there are sick people in our world, or that there is no other way, but to realize that there are sick people in the world and to become sick oneself. And of course, all along while the tune of the refrain plays one can see devil horns as the only way out, too.
This is a song that is catering to the narcissistic side of a human nature. Many strange-looking fellas, who although they have huge bicepses, and other muscles, have also developed some unusually high waists, and old and young women who have very broad shoulders and narrow hips and have very masculine postures. Could just this song alone be a proof of the elites transgendering themselves? It's not clear from this song whether the songwriter is judging this type of behavior or whether he is endorsing it. One could interpret it the both ways. His lyrics seems to confirm that he is judgmental towards it. But, on the other hand, the joyful tone of the music suggests otherwise, that he is admiring such kind of individuals and such kind of behavior. One should also note that the people employed to depict this narcissistic individuals in the song are clearly the people that are really in those kind of professions, models and weightlifters, and prostitutes, and strippers, that get people to become egotistical and self-absorbed, and that they would have probably never accepted to be displayed in this video, in the fashion they've been displayed in, if they would to think that the message that is being spread about them is in any way unfavorable towards their image. He doesn't even judge the person that has hit him several years ago, when he was quite naive, which is for me suggesting a pedophilia, if not statutory, then, at least, in intention, and that, much older than himself, person, eventually left him afterwards for fame and fortune. It's all totally okay with him. He had some clouds in his coffee and some dreams, but with him apparently anything goes. He might do it in the future to some another person and complete the victim-to-offender cycle. And eventually we find out that those kind of individuals end up alone, because the lyrics say that she is exactly where she is supposed to be, unless she is with somebody's boyfriend, suggesting that she has achieved in life all her goals, except for acquiring love and stable partnership.
lyrics don't say much, but these fun-made video, tribute to Tame Downe, who has really interesting stage name, sounds a little bit like Timey Downe, something to do with sadomasochism no doubt, says a whole lot. It's loaded with the images of band from covers, magazines, behind the stage, everyday life and even some interesting videos.
It's so nervous, and it's so cute for you to be afraid. And you really sparkle, you glimmer like a diamond in the rain.
What's really interesting is that the singer is dressing up as a Nazi officer very often while performing, especially now, in the latter day of his career, and he is even giving a Nazi salute, while holding his you-know-what, while before he used to wear bandana with skull and bone symbols on it. In the next video you can see also the beaten-up woman that wears communist scarf and a pioneer hat, the clothes that school children used to wear in socialist countries during that era. Another pedophile reference? Tame takes her hand and pulls her closer towards him, while being in Nazi uniform, and sings at that point, "You look so scared, and it's okay for you to be afraid," and we all know the speculations about the movie, that this group got named after, having to do something with praising the Nazis. Do these lyrics also suggest that the Nazis eventually won over the communists in some way, or is it just Tame's wishful thinking? The singer is usually performing while drinking whiskey and smoking, while some girls are dancing around the poles, which are business escort in best case scenario and prostitutes at worst. The song called Cat House and this fan-made tribute video to the band, especially the videos within the video, where we can see many beautiful young women acting in very suggestive fashion, lead me to believe that this band might be in pimping business as well, if not all of them then Tame for sure. It makes you wonder how does he achieves doing it all, given that he is also a biker and that he travels with his good buddy Ricky cross-country throughout much of the year, but biker job could actually be a very good cover for a programmer that goes on to program his victims on demand across country, and Tame could easily be one, because he certainly sounds very smart while talking and he definitely does not look as spaced out as the other celebrities do. And, at this point, we know that mind control and prostitution are very much connected, and that many victims are forced into it, at least for a short period in their life.
Baby,
This song, in my opinion, beside talking about obnoxious handlers, whose duty is probably, among the other stuff, to make the victim ashamed of being connected with them in any regard as much as possible, and therefore acting inappropriately for their age and social status, talking about demons. And why could this creeper be demon as well? Because demonic creatures, that have learned to continue living in etheric form after death, and that can possess other living beings, which are some of the aliens that have colonized us in the distant past and have built all our monolithic structures, victim shame the person as well, by making her act in a shameful manner and in that way lower her barriers towards clandestine behavior, and lower her sense of self-worth and therefore make her more vulnerable towards future spiritual attacks from their part. He also says poison ivy, I got creeper just right behind me, which is another indication that it's a song about handlers, that are all creepers, because they molest sexually their victims, but on the other hand it could just be demons that are sexual pervs. Don't mess with my birds and my bees? Where have I heard it before? Maybe the band goes to mention them at some concert and the band Madness as well in the song It Must Be Love. It's pleonasm, or the nice way to say something, for penis and vagina. So, does Tammy doesn't want his creeper to rape him anymore? Don't pet my dog? The same thing as don't mess with my birds and my bees, only said differently. And have you noticed Amy Doll held by Greg Steele at one point with tape over his mouth?
It's Kelly. I miss you, honey. And I'm not gonna say goodbye because I gotta believe you're still around. I know you are, and I know you have your swagger on. I love you, hooker. Hey, Bianca, it's Angie. I miss you so much. Think about you every day, a lot. But I know I'll see you again soon. I love you.
This is from album Power and the Glory Hole, dedicated to the Bianca Halstead, aka Bianca Butthole, singer and performer in an all-female hard rock band Betty Blowtorch, and another, almost all-female band, called Butt Trumpet, described as audio porn by some, and a part-time dominatrix, who died tragically in a car accident in 2001 very young, at 36. What's not so strange in those circles at all, it's more the rule.
Hey Bianca, it's Riley. I didn't get to say goodbye because you left in such a hurry. We miss you. Can't wait to rock with you on the other side. Let's say goodbye for now. See you soon.
Hey, thanks, it's Red. How do I even begin to say say goodbye to you. Still not a day passes I don't think about you and talk to you. I know you can hear me. Thank you for blessing my life with your presence. I love you infinity. Bye for now. I'll see you later.
She actually gained some success on the hard rock scene, which is somewhat rare with the females in the music industry. There is either not enough interest on their part or something else fishy is going on there.
Tender, baby. I love you, baby. Thanks for letting me wear your underwear. Baby, it's Chadwick. You're one of a kind, baby. I love you. Bianca, you dirty thing. Delicious, Bianca. You know how we feel about you.
She was apparently very good friend of Tame, and he asked the fans to submit audio clips of their farewells to Bianca Butthole for the track Bye Bye Bianca, which is a tribute to the band Betty Blowtorch into her. If you listen to their eulogies, or post-mortem speeches, they are hilarious.
Ricky Vodka, no one ever plucked that bass like you, baby. You will always be my humble goddess.
Hey, it's Wendy, Bianca. I miss you.
Hey, Bianca, Smart Diamond. We'll all love you very much. We're missing you, and we'll be seeing you again. Bianca, it's Casper. I talk to you all the time. Thanks for telling me never to shut up.
First of all, they are so happy, that it makes you wonder if she really died, or if she was some kind of mock sacrifice from that time period, when less of celebrities actually died all of a sudden, with no apparent reason, whether she got another life somewhere under some new identity, like it is speculated that has happened to Prince or Michael Jackson.
I hope you're well. I know you are, because great people can go to heaven. I remember auditioning for Bud Trumpet. How shy, cute, and timid you were. We, as you would say, young, dumb, and forcome. I miss you. So how are you? Be here with me. See you soon. Love, Richard.
But then when you listen further, you realize that all of those people actually believe that she is in some better heavenly-like place and that she is enjoying sex there. And then it makes you wonder if they are Satanists that actually believe in some kind of heaven that's filled with sex and enjoyment after death.
Jeff, goodbye, Bianca. You will be missed.
Hi, my name is Mauricio. I didn't know Bianca that much, but he left us silently. God bless her soul, baby. Ciao.
Hey, it's Marcus Ray. Hey, Bianca. It was always good to know you. Till we meet again. Hasta la vista. Adios. It's Nita saying goodbye.
Are they really vampires, and do they change their human form into vampiric one after their deaths and go to live inside the hollow earth? They sound genuinely happy about her dying and going away to a better place. I am not joking. One would thought such kind of people would be atheist and wouldn't believe in anything similar.
Bianca Butthole from Betty Blowtorch. How the hell are you?
I'm swell, thanks. How are you?
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. There's Ace, my co-host. But
Ace.
Hey, what's up?
Space.
Yeah.
Time dominatrix. You've been a very, very
business cards?
boy.
Bianca, if you didn't have a job beating men, you might get one. Just kidding. Fucking laugh.
That's the only skill I have.
Foundations formed back in '95 a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where Jim Rose did balloon animal tricks with his dick, then rubbed his hands all over me. Right when I went to ask you a question when you're on the artist panels, you remember that?
I remember that.
Bianca, why is Butthole really your last name, or did you have a name change?
No, I was born with the name Butthole. My mom is Miss Butthole.
She has lived a long life. Here we can see her in some pictures as recent as in 2011, when she also passed away. She apparently became very overweight as the time went by, but she was very popular, even worshipped, in Hollywood, judging by her pictures with numerous celebrities, and album covers and comic books dedicated to her, and even one band called by her stage name, Although she was at best a B-list actress, for the short time period she was actually acting. Makes you wonder, right? One must admit, not a lot of artists get to wear the name of the Dark Lord of this world himself. She was at one point girlfriend of Elvis Presley, and just because she wanted to be faithful to him, 'cause that's supposedly what she's like, although Satanists to orgies, she turned down the sexual advance on the part of Steve MC Queen, if you'd believe it. He was very handsome, even more so than Elvis, one would have to agree.
All right, everybody, welcome to that after show, or the part of the taping where the audience goes, oh, we gotta sit through this shit now? Fuck.
Part of the taping where we have no preparation and no idea what the hell we're going to talk about.
Which is great.
Yeah, so Tammy, anything you want to tell everybody? Which is the only online version, so nobody really sees it. So is there anything you want to say?
Perfect.
You're lovely.
You were...
Yeah, and you name it's been there. Aerosmith, Motley, they all come, when they're in town, they hang out. It's fun.
And it's like this procession of hogs or something.
Oh yeah, we let everybody in with Harleys that come down with a Harley. We let them in for free. So I don't know. The beautifulest ladies in the world come to the cat house.
Yeah. What happens if somebody comes up in a Honda?
They're gonna pay half price.
And you guys just played Rocklahoma. That must have been quite a party. And you know everything is bigger and better in Texas, and it doesn't get any better than South Texas Rock Fest. What do you have in store for the Hard Rockin' Maniacs here today?
We already did it. We gave them our little special jihad. We gave them a...
Yeah.
What did you think about your first NASCAR race?
It was really fucking fun.
Why do you have to swear every time I put like an answer? It's always you
I
always
said
have
like
fun about it.
It was a lot of fun. You can edit it.
But you had a good time?
Fucking edit it.